please, the right version forward. There, now you.
Morning everybody, I would like to welcome members and open this meeting of the City Council. I will ask my chaplain to open the meeting.
Mr Mayor, City Councillors and members of the public, before I close this chapter of my ministry, I must say it has been a real privilege to serve as chaplain to Cllr Jeremy Benstead, and I say a sincere thank you to him and to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Marie-Louise Holland, and Lucy Melassa for very helpful support. I also wish the new chaplain, Reverend Dr. Isidora Katsos, a very happy, fulfilling and worthwhile year in office. Since the dissolution of Parliament on May the 3rd, candidates have been parading and publicising their case for our stubby pencil crosses on June the 8th. The main political parties have thrust a wide range of policies on us. None of us have been surprised to see the National Health Service, education, employment, Brexit and devolution highlighted. However, many issues affecting the daily lives of many people will seldom get much attention, if at all. Some things are impossible to anticipate and therefore difficult to legislate for. Terrorist bombings on the one hand, and life-changing transformation of good on the other. The tragic and terrible bombing in Manchester on Monday on the one hand, and at the other end of the spectrum, a world-changing breakthrough for the better, which we should be celebrating today as it is Ascension Day. Nobody could have legislated for that either. Were we in reality a Christian country, this should be a day of great celebration. When Jesus as King of Kings and Lord of Lords ascended to the right hand of God and established the only kingdom which no earthly power can or will overthrow or destroy, not even the so-called Islamic State. This subversive kingdom of God was amply illustrated this week by the many good Samaritans following the bombing. Now, if legislation had forced them to lend a hand, then the real value of what they did would be greatly diminished. The fact is that something deep within them lifted their horizon far and beyond themselves. Some would say this is just human nature at its best, but the Church and followers of Jesus Christ would point to this as one of many indicators to the significance and purpose of life extending beyond this physical life on earth. Jesus emphasised the kingdom in which the last shall be first, the power of death defeated, and those people with childlike faith greater than those invested with earthly power and authority. The Salvation Army, in which I've been privileged to serve for more than 50 years, would love to do itself out of some of the services we run 24/7 every day of the year. Caring for the homeless, victims of human trafficking, rehabilitation of drug and alcohol addicts, and so much more. This work keeps us busy round the clock as we try faithfully to engage with the real world in a similar way to that exemplified by Jesus Christ when he was on earth. These are not the only groups of people who are struggling. As recently as the end of April, the Trussell Trust, the network of community food banks, reported a 9% increase in food parcel distribution last year. So in 2016, 1.2 million three-day food bags, 4,500 of which were here in Cambridge, the highest on record. Just 2 months ago, the Child Poverty Action Group reported that around about 3 million children in the UK are living in poverty. That should not be so. For months, the political chatter has been about the state of Britain's relationship with Europe. The party worthy of our support and therefore worthy of our stubby pencil cross, however, is the one that we hope will change the world for those who need it most. I have been impressed and encouraged by some of the city's councillors who have clearly to you all are these. 2,900 years ago, a fearless prophet of the Old Testament called Micah said these words. What God is looking for in men and women is to do what is fair and just to your neighbour, to be compassionate and loyal in your love, and don't take yourself too seriously, take God seriously. It still sounds relevant to me as an election manifesto, and it seems also to me a good way of ensuring the ongoing success of a great city like Cambridge. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. First of all, some housekeeping and announcements. We're not expecting the fire alarm to go off today, but if it does, please exit at the back and front of the council chamber or the rear of the public gallery and follow the exit signs. For wheelchair users and those with mobility issues, please make your way to the safe waiting area on the Pease Hillside stairwell of the building. Council officers will be on hand to assist. An accessible unisex toilet is located outside the council chamber opposite the members' room. A drinks machine and water dispenser are located in the corridor opposite committee room 1. I would recommend that if you need it, use it because it's going to get pretty stuffy in here this afternoon. The council is filming this meeting and a copy will be available to view in the coming days. Can councillors speak into their microphone so that everyone can hear the contributions that are made? Members of the public are more than welcome to take photographs during the election of the new mayor and deputy mayor. I would, however, ask that members of the public remain seated. Thank you. Agenda item 1, election of mayor. For the first item on the agenda, I call for nominations for the office of mayor for the ensuing municipal year. Do we have any nominations? Councillor Cantor.
I'd like to nominate Cllr George Pippas.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Sorry. Councillor Cantrell, so we'll get there.
That's okay, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, yes, the role of mayor as the first citizen of Cambridge is an important one. It's not just about the events that the mayor attends, from coffee mornings to the 9 lessons at King's College on Christmas Eve, although those are important. No, in the mayor, every year at this meeting, on an occasion that most probably has taken place for hundreds of years in this city, we entrust into an individual to represent the life and the character of Cambridge. And as we have seen with previous mayors, their background and their character has expressed the key elements of what Cambridge is about. Be that Eve Hartree, the first woman mayor of this city in 1924, or Jane Bailey, the first transgender mayor in 2007, or indeed my fellow councillor Joey Bird in 2014, who overcome her physical challenges to perform the role with panache and with style. So, in a city that voted overwhelmingly to remain in the EU last June, and in a week that has seen an awful event in Manchester, trying to divide communities, the appointment of George redefines and reinforces that this city, Cambridge, is an open and tolerant and united city, welcoming people regardless of background or nationality. And Cambridge did give George such a welcome some 40 years ago, when, like many of us, he came here to study from his home in Cyprus. And it was this city where George decided to lay down roots, again like many others, and have a family. And where over the last 40 years, he has become an integral part of this city's life, whether it's been initially working in numerous IT and technology roles within that sector in the city, or more recently, running his own business, welcoming visitors to Cambridge. or whether it has been as a city councillor since 2011, particularly as a ward councillor in Queen Edith, helping people in his community, or in the role he performed as deputy mayor in 2013 and 14. So, I know, based on this variety of experience, that George will do a fantastic job as mayor. He will combine his mellow manner, his warmth, his openness, and his commitment to this council and this city. And so today, as we entrust in George, as we do every year, the responsibility of representing this great city of Cambridge, I know, Mr. Mayor, that it will be in safe hands. Many thanks.
It's a great privilege to second Cllr Pippas' nomination on behalf of the ruling Labour group. Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, Your Eminence, guests. As we all know, politics in Cambridge can be a pretty brutal and bruising affair, especially in the run-up to a general election. But amid these sometimes bitter factional and party politics, Cllr Pippas has always been a model of civility and gentlemanliness, irrespective of political affiliation. I know that my former colleague, Sue Birtles, when she was a Labour councillor for George's Queen Edith, was always grateful to George for his friendliness and support, as to have I been during my time on the City Council. And I'm sure that Cllr Pippas will bring that same cross-party spirit to the role of mayor, just as he formerly did to that of deputy mayor, making him a fair-minded and judicious chairman of this sometimes difficult chamber. But there are other reasons too, Mr. Mayor, why I believe Cllr Pippas will make an excellent representative and figurehead, both for the City Council and the broader Cambridge community. Cambridge is, and always has been, a city of migrants. From the renegade scholars who fled Oxford in the 13th century, to the refugees whom we have welcomed to our city of sanctuary in more recent years, we are a community of unusually diverse origins. It is also a city built on innovation, be it humanistic, scientific, or more recently, commercial. And it is no coincidence that a city that has been so welcoming to highly skilled outsiders is now one of the most economically vibrant in Western Europe. And Cllr Pippas, I would suggest, embodies our city's commitment to cosmopolitanism, to innovation, and to community. Born in Cyprus, when it was still a British colony, as a child he would have lived through the troubled early years of that island's independence. Importantly, as a young man, he was part of that heroic generation of Cypriots who were forced to fight to defend their homeland against the brutal Turkish invasion of 1974, a conflict in which Cllr Pippas saw active service as a young officer and was obliged to witness many of his contemporaries killed as they forced to stem the enemy tide. And without his courage and that of his comrades, there are many thousands of people, including relatives of mine, who would not be alive today. Yet crucially, Cllr Pippas did not come away from that experience as a narrow nationalist, but rather as a committed internationalist, like many fighting soldiers aware that it is politicians who make wars, but ordinary people who pay the price for them. Like many in Cambridge, as we have heard from Councillor Cantrell, Cllr Pippas then came to the UK as a student. Now, the 1970s were not necessarily an easy time to be a Greek Cypriot in this country. And well into the 1990s, they could find themselves subjected to racism and hostility, arising from the earlier struggles for national self-determination and anti-colonialism. But Cllr Pippas nevertheless chose to make Britain his home, working as an engineer and businessman in both the high-tech photographic and more recently hospitality industries, and raising a family here, contributing to the broader community as well as his native one, as witnessed by the great support he has given to the local Greek Orthodox Church, as well as his civic work in this chamber and beyond. So in Cllr Pippas, I would suggest we have a candidate for the mayoralty who embodies the very best of Cambridge. Its cosmopolitanism, its commitment to innovation, and its integrative vision of community. Mr. Mayor, I commend Cllr Pippas to you and to the rest of this chamber as a proud Greek, a proud Cypriot, a committed Briton, a staunch European, a citizen of the world, and from today, first citizen of Cambridge.
Are there any other nominations? Then can we please have a show of hands for all those in favour of Cllr Pippas being elected as the Mayor of Cambridge? Please show. I declare that Cllr Pippas Mayor of the City of Cambridge for the ensuing municipal year 2017-2018. Can I ask that councillors, guests and members of the public remain in their seats while voting takes place in the Mayor's Parlour? And one last time.
Declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfill the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. We're having some technical difficulties with the microphones, they don't work. This one, yeah. They're on. Okay, I guess it's something like it. Right. Good morning, everybody. I would like to personally thank each and every one of you for your support and for the honor you bestowed upon me. My very special thanks to all my predecessors, and especially the outgoing mayor, my good friend Jeremy Benstead, who has set the bar so high, it will be a real challenge for the rest of us to reach. I would also like to thank all the distinguished guests who are here with us today to share this mayor-making ceremony. I'm only sorry that my mother's health prevented her from being here with us today. She would have liked that very much. I am also very grateful to all the Cambridge City Council officers and the Mayor's Office support staff for their professionalism and dedication to this office. For those of you who don't know me, I am George Pippas. I come from a large family of 9 children, 6 boys and 3 girls. I was born in a small village called Paliomedovo in Cyprus 61 years ago. I am married to Anastasia, everybody calls her Anna, and we have 3 children, Christina, Gregory, and Anthony. I completed my primary and secondary education in Cyprus, where I spent many hours, not just learning modern Greek, but some obsolete languages such as classical Greek and Latin. After finishing school, I had to join the army, where I served for 3 years as an officer at the rank of lieutenant. I came to Cambridge in '77, some 40 years ago, and I studied engineering. When I completed my studies, I worked for the various technical departments of a number of local companies, such as Pi Unicam, for those of you who remember it, in York Street, Pi Lancaster, also in York Street, and Philips Telecom in St Andrews Street in Chesterton. I was also instrumental in helping with the setting up of a very successful local startup company called Cambridge Computer Graphics in Clifton Road, Cambridge. Furthermore, I worked with other larger organizations such as RCL Solvers in London, DEC in Utrecht, that's digital, in Holland, Proxima in San Diego, California, Nova Data in Norway, and Polaroid Corporation in Boston, Massachusetts. Whilst working full-time, the need for different skills arose, and therefore I had to take up additional education. I joined the Open University, where I gained a degree in management and statistics. Plus, I attended numerous technical and management seminars. My last employer, for whom I worked for 13 years, was called Polaroid Europe, based in St. Albans. My last role at Polaroid was as the European and Export Manager, providing management support to the 28 European Union countries, plus Russia and the former Russian republics, the Nordic region, Greece, Turkey, the Middle East, the whole of Africa, India, and Pakistan. Sadly, with the advent of digital photography, Polaroid underwent Chapter 11, and all the staff were made redundant. My wife and I, we started our own business in the hospitality industry sector here in Cambridge, and we have been employed ever since. Self-employment has given me the opportunity to get more involved with the local community. We try to give something back to the community for the wonderful hospitality that was extended to us by the city for the last 40 years. Cambridge has given to me and my family a good living, a safe and a pleasant place to live, and a good education for our children. However, I felt I could serve the community better if I were to become a councillor. I was first elected in 2011 and got re-elected in 2015. During my 6 years as a councillor, I got involved in many committees, such as housing, licensing, first as a member and also as a spokes, in planning, in JDCC and employment committees. I have also been a vice chair and the chair of the South Area Committee. I served 5 years as a bailiff and 1 year as a deputy mayor. Today, it is a great honor and it is a humbling experience for me have chosen two charities for this year. The first one is the Sick Children's Trust at Acorn House in Addenbrooks. They believe by keeping families together significantly improves the recovery of seriously ill children. They provide free, high-quality home-from-home accommodation as well as emotional and practical support to families with sick children in hospital. My wife and I attended this charity when I was a deputy mayor, and this visit has left a lasting impression upon us, and we very much like to support this. The second charity is Cllr 33. Cllr 33 exists to help every young person in Cambridgeshire to fulfill their potential. They support and empower young people to overcome their problems through a range of free and confidential services. On the council's website it says, a mayor is often seen as a symbol of an open society because the role is no longer restricted to an elite group within the population. The first citizen, as they are sometimes known, can come from any class, any gender, or any ethnic background, and has a key democratic role to play. This is so true. I would like to convey the council's message that every single one of us who lives here in Cambridge matters. Coming from an ethnic minority group, I would like this to be a year when we try and include all the minorities and make them feel that they are an integral part of this wonderful city. We are blessed here today to have with us representatives from the different religious denominations. We're also privileged to have here with us representatives from many local communities, such as the Chinese community, we have the Turkish community, and from my own, the Greek community. And last but not least, I would like to thank the local schools for their representation. Twice, the City Council has voted in full council, confirming that we fully support the 10,000 or so citizens from other EU countries who live and work around Cambridge. I wish to convey the message to all the citizens of Cambridge that the City of Cambridge appreciates their contribution, and if any of them were born in continental Europe like me, we would like them to stay and play a key role in Cambridge's ongoing success. Finally, I wish to reiterate that I am humbled and eternally grateful to all my fellow councillors for the honour you bestowed upon me, and I promise that I do my utmost best. As the new mayor, I would like us to try and demonstrate whatever our background is, every one of us matters here in Cambridge. We're all equally important for the future and the well-being of the city of Cambridge and of this country. Thank you.
Yes, I would. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and may I be the first from the floor to congratulate you on your elevation to Mayor of Cambridge. Something I remember from Jeremy's a speech Jeremy gave last year. I believe you're the 811th Mayor of Cambridge, so congratulations there. Mr. Mayor, it's my pleasure really to nominate Councillor Nigel Gorthrop, known to many people as Gus. So if you ever hear anybody asks you where Gus is, you now know. Nigel, as I'll call him, rather than Gus, grew up in King's Hedges, a ward that he's now proud to represent, and I'm privileged to have as a fellow ward councillor. He was educated educated in King's Hedges. His education began in King's Hedges, and he was further educated at the Cambridge Grammar School for Boys, where we had such things. Having left that, when we had boys. Just make up your own jokes as we go. Nigel went from there to work as an apprentice bookbinder at the Cambridge University Press, and he worked there solidly for 40 years before, unfortunately, the department closed and Nigel was made redundant. He now works as a college porter at the same college as I do, Cllr College. So, Councillor Smart, you're next. Let's see if we can get you a job there too. A large part of Nigel's working life at the University Press was as a member of one of the print unions at the time, the Society of Graphical and Allied Trades, SOGAT, where he spent some 30 years of his time representing working people within the factory. He represented his union locally, nationally, and indeed internationally. I was a member of a different print union, and in 1991, the two unions, the National Graphical Association, the NGA and SOGAT, amalgamated to form the Graphical Paper and Media Union. And this council, this chamber, and some of the committees are here are not the first time, not the first places that Nigel and I have served together, as we were both members of the local GPMU Anglia branch. And what Nigel brings here to this council is his experiences of negotiating, his experiences of looking after people at work, and he now looks after sort of residents of King's Hedges. I'm pleased and proud, Mr Mayor, to propose Councillor Gawthorpe and to let Council know that he will be at the beer festival following today's proceedings and will, I'm sure, by those councillors that join in there, a third of a pint and 42 straws.
Yes, we have to speed up today, so we go to the other point. Please don't talk too much. Thank you. Do you have a secretary, please?
We do.
That's a bit warm.
Thank you. It gives me great pleasure, new mayor, fellow councillors, members and special guests, to second Councillor Gawthorpe. I'm going to refer to him as Nigel, because that's how I knew him and know him in committees, and especially drinking coffee in the local Greens, where I've had many nice conversations with him and his wonderful new wife. Now, I believe you'll make a great, worthy and caring deputy mayor. Nigel has a hidden talent that not many people know about. He's an underwater photographer of some skill with a great interest in these strange creatures that are found there. I hope that this will help him in his new role as deputy mayor. I would wish him one other thing, if I could, and that is a time twister, as Hermione had in Harry Potter. Because working at night and then during the day is going to be quite a challenge for you. I hope you trickle it well. We wish you all the best, and I'm sure you'll have a successful and happy time. Thank you.
Are there any
Cambridge City Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations. I will now place the Deputy Mayor's badge on Nigel. Thank you so much. May I approve as correct record the minutes of the meeting of this council held on the 23rd of February 2017. A copy of the minutes can be found in the information pack starting on page 9. Everybody happy with those minutes? Yes? Now, to item 4. Could the council know the report of the returning officer? I would like to welcome Councillor Shield, who won the election, the honorary seat at the local election held on the 4th of May. Sincerely hope you will enjoy your work on behalf of the city. Councillor, would you stand up for Secretary? Right. It is a great pleasure to appoint Father Dr. Isidros Gatsos to be my chaplain. Unfortunately, he could not be here today due to unforeseen circumstances, but His Eminence Archbishop Gregorius of Benstead and the Admiral is here representing the Church. Father Gatsos is from the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Athanasius, Cherrytington Road. A very bright Cambridge University scholar who has a PhD in law from Berlin University, and he is currently taking a second PhD in theology here at Cambridge College. I look forward to Father Gatsos attending future council meetings. Councillor Roberts will move the following resolution of thanks to the outgoing Mayor Jeremy Benstead. This council expresses its appreciation of the manner in which the duties of the Mayor were discharged by Councillor Benstead during his period of office, and that the common seal be affixed to a copy of this resolution for presentation to him at the next council meeting. Councillor Roberts, please.
Thank you, Mr. Congratulations, obviously, on your elevation and the same, of course, to your deputy. Just firstly to say, I'm glad you are the Mayor of Cambridge. The first time I met you, you were it was actually in 2012, Queen Edith, quite a fraught campaign, and you came bounding up to me with your big rosette, your dog, and being quite a tribal person involved in politics, I was surprised by the friendly reception you made, and just wanted to have a chat. And you've always been, I think, a very good councillor, and I extend that as well, obviously, to Gus as well, who has been a great councillor, somebody who has passion for his ward, and has always spoken up for the people within. Now, saying a few kind words about Councillor Benstead's performance as Mayor this last year is not hard, simply because he has done such a wonderful job for our council in our city. Before I Benstead's time as mayor. I've been told today. So, firstly, let's just go through a few. Jeremy has, over the last year, has conducted nearly 400 engagements in the city. It made his aim to go not just for quantity, but also for quality. Always being there, always willing to shake hands and meet not just the right people, but general members of the public. And I'll give you a good example of this. Yesterday, many councillors were at the vigil, and Councillor Benstead, a child approached Councillor Benstead and said, "Oh, can you do a survey for me? I'm doing a recognising him in the chair, in his chains and so on." And he filled out the survey and then went through all obviously the vigil and press and so on. And then another child came up to him and said, "Oh, Mr. Mayor, do you mind filling out my survey?" And the first thing Jeremy said was, "Well, I've already filled out one." And it's one of those sort of teeth-gritting moments. You're sat next to a councillor, sort of stood next to him thinking, "Oh no, he's not going to tell this poor child with this survey that he's not going to do it." And then obviously Jeremy said, "So I know exactly what to say when I fill yours out right now." Now, he has been a great supporter of local charities, particularly got solid relationships with The Comfort, which I know is incredibly close to Councillor Cantrell's heart. And one of his last engagements yesterday was walking around town talking to big issue sellers, which John Bird, the founder of The Big Issue, retweeted and got a big thumbs up from him. And I think that summarises the type of person Jeremy is, which is a person that everyone in Cambridge, when many of us referred to Jeremy when he first was elevated to the position, we referred to it as taking someone from the town and putting him in a gown to represent us all. Now, during this last year, he's met with all the major royals. I say this as a Republican. He's met the Queen, Charles, William, and Andrew, but he's yet to meet Edward, I'm told. So sadly, none of us are arranged to be here today. But he is going to the Royal Garden Party in a few weeks' time, and I've been told by Lucy that he plans to track him down and tick him off the list, which I think is great. Now, the most interesting thing that Lucy said when I was talking to her is that Jeremy is a bit of a mayor fashionista. So, from day one, she said, he's taking full advantage of the close proximity between the mayor's parlour and the shops in town. Each week, he has walked into the office to show the team his new purchases: coats, ties, shirts, an awful lot of shirts. He generally has hundreds. And while he may well miss, Lucy said, wearing the chains, he's not going to miss the scuffed suits and ties this is forced, and he can start wearing his best suits again. I think it was really nice that when I was talking to his team, that they basically said that he will be greatly missed by all of them, and because of the hard work he's done, the way that the character which he's done it. Now, aside from his public duties outside this chamber, I think we can all agree that Councillor Benstead has done an admirable job, fair, and as other people have said, one of the key roles of the mayor is to be relatively judicious, but a fair job of keeping us all, as unruly councillors, in check here in the chamber during the course of often short debates. He has introduced all of us who struggle with the length of our contributions to the new concept of the mayor's bell, which he happily whacks and lets us know it's time to sit down and shutting up. He's not been afraid to stand up also when any of us have occasionally upset the mark. Now, more than anything, I think it's important to highlight one rather sad role the mayor has conducted over the last 12 months, and that role has occurred all too often for all the wrong reasons, namely the mayor's role in leading commemorations and vigils in the face of recognising on behalf of our city horrific events. In July, we turned to Councillor Benstead for a 2-minute silence in the Market Square to commemorate 100 years since the first assault in Song, where we recognised the 20,000 soldiers who lost their lives on the opening day of battle. Sadly, in a year of heinous acts in Manchester, Westminster, the murder of Joe Cox, and the attack in Nice, we have all too often turned to Cambridge's mayor for a stoic response in such uncertain times. In Councillor Benstead's own words, everybody is someone to somebody, and when they leave us, it hurts. While the events of the last 12 months have been incredibly turbulent, to say the least, one of the few local things we have had is a consistently good mayor who has sought to bring us all together, regardless of background. I salute your fortitude, work rate, and composure over a very, very tough year. Your year involves, let's say, one of the most depressing phases of modern history, but your place in the pantheon of great mayors is assured, or part on that, is assured, and more importantly, well deserved. And for many of us, despite the challenge
gracious Mr. Mayor, and may I congratulate you on your elevation earlier. In my opinion, there is no year where it's more appropriate to have a mayor of your profile and themes than this year. But I would like to second the recognition for the outgoing mayor, Cllr Benstead. So what did I think I knew about Cllr Benstead before he became mayor? I promise you this ends well. It's necessary help for him. I thought he was bluff, sometimes chippy, often sparky, sometimes spiky, and in his moments, sometimes volatile. What have I learnt about Cllr Benstead through his year as mayor? I found him statesmanlike, confronted by the disagreements and unruly behaviour sometimes in his chamber. I found him serene, I found him fair-minded, and I found him stable. I've also seen someone who has enjoyed the role, and I've seen someone who has shown the capacity both for solemnity when required and fun when that has also been required. So I think he's been a truly splendid mayor for the city. I think he's infused the role with personality, maybe in only a way that he could have done if he had actually had those traits that I mentioned and noticed before. The question, of course, is now, was this transformation temporary? or will I become reacquainted with the preceding Cllr Benstead? That's really not the point today. The point is to talk about the year that we've just had, which I think has been splendid, and I think the whole of the council and the whole of the city owes him a debt of gratitude for having delivered on this role in a supremely effective way.
Thank you, Councillor Biggs. I call upon Councillor Hickman, you may wish to speak.
Mr. Mayor, may I first congratulate you on your appointment. This is a city of many facets and many communities, and I'm sure you will splendidly represent the city in all its diversity. So we wish you luck. But my main purpose this morning, afternoon, is to pay tribute to the mayoralty of Jeremy Benstead. He has been undoubtedly a good mayor, the smiling and proud face of the city. And what has made his mayoralty such a special one is that he is a true son of the city. He is a Cambridge man to the very core. He's been a firm and fair chairperson of this council, conscientious to a degree. Jeremy, I think, if I may be allowed to speak indirectly, there may be an element of anticlimax in the coming days and weeks. I remember when I ended my term as mayor, you suddenly ceased to be the first citizen, you become again an ordinary citizen. And so much joy and satisfaction is given to the mayor in the discharge of their duties, that to see that suddenly cut off takes some time. So Jeremy, I think big war. But you can look back with pride and satisfaction on the great service you have given the city. Well done.
Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Mayor. And I'm really pleased to see you sitting up there with the change road net. When we were talking earlier about your military service, I know that you come from many of the service engagements we have in the remembrance days, and you wear your campaign medals. I wanted to mention the other campaign medal we have, opening night at Rennell's. we were both there. We didn't know each other.
Those are our medals.
So back in the 70s. I've had a great year, but I couldn't have done it without the team behind me. Lucy, sitting over there. Sam, who came and joined us in October, has been really valuable, a great help to me and a friend. Kathy and Gary, who stepped in when they needed to, thanks to those two. To the mace bearers, who have been really helpful in my early days as the mayor, gave me a lot of advice because I came in quite blind to everything that was being done. They were a lot of help as well. What can I say? I really enjoyed this year, and I doubt I will do it again because I'm going to take the gloss off of it. And for those in the Labour group who know this already, they reply to Councillor Mick, in the words of the famous words of Alice Cooper, no more Mr. Einstein.
Can I see a show of hands to this motion, please? I call upon Councillor Hipkin to propose thanks to the outgoing Deputy Mayor, Councillor Holland.
Careful, John.
Mr. Mayor, as chair of the planning committee, I'm often required to remind members that they have to declare a personal interest. Well, I have to today to declare a personal interest, and I gladly do so, since, for those of you who don't know, I'm married to this lovely person. I've seen at very close hand as her husband the joy and satisfaction with which she has carried out her role. She hasn't been in huge demand because Jeremy has made it the first duty of his mayoralty to fulfill every engagement that it is physically possible for him to attend. But she has, on the occasions when her services have been required, she has been overwhelmed with joy at the prospect of representing the city. May I just say that, in conclusion, that Imogen and I are very happy indeed to have her fully restored to the family.
I understand that Councillor Benstead and Councillor Country would also like to say a few words. Councillor Benstead.
I didn't mention Marie-Louise when I was doing my speech because I knew that the vote of thanks was coming up to her following this. A great help to me this year. I do feel guilty that I didn't let you have mutton show, but I always knew that when I needed some backup, you were always there to do it for me. I always knew that when we met, we come into the Mayor's Parlour and talk things through, sensible suggestions, steady help. You've been a great deputy mayor, and I've really had a good time working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My observations are from a slightly more distant perspective than Councillor Hipkin, so apologies for that.
I'm reassured to hear.
I haven't heard what I'm going to say yet. Mr. Mayor, as you know, the role of Deputy Mayor is often in the shadow of the Mayor, but no less important, because as the Deputy Mayor, the Deputy Mayor has to shoulder some of the many events that the Mayor is requested to attend. And as we've heard, Councillor Holland has brought to the role of Deputy Mayor this year, that resilience in the support of Cllr Benstead. But I think think also what Councillor Holland has provided is a very distinct contrast in style and appearance in some ways to Councillor Benstead, which is to be welcomed both in the chamber and outside. And the only other point I would make, Mr Mayor, is that I recognise that the role of Mayor and Deputy Mayor aren't time-consuming, but it's very important that Mary-Louise has continued to be extremely active as a ward councillor in Castle over the last 12 months, and I've certainly seen that as chair of West Central Committee. So I'd like to thank her from this side of the chamber for all her efforts as Deputy Mayor.
We now go to Mayor's announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on your elevation. I really just want to thank the Labour Group for recognising the independents as a political group in the city and for voting me in as Deputy Mayor. In particular to Councillor Charlotte Perry, who proposed me back in May 2016 and obviously is not here today. I've enjoyed sitting on the dais alongside former Mayor Jeremy Benstead and been impressed by his prowess at chairing these, impressed by his prowess in chairing the full council meetings, which sometimes can be an unruly chamber. There are a selection of gavels which the Mayor wields. And I remember on one occasion, the gavel landed with such force on the desk that I thought the wood was about to split. And Jeremy muttered an aside, which just said, "My day job is a roofer." And all good wishes for the future.
Ceremony will be preached at All Saints Church this year, in Jesus' name, this coming Sunday, 28th of May, at 9:30 in the morning. Members have received details of this occasion, and if you have not yet confirmed your attendance, please can you do so today with Lucy Milazzo. There are some people here who may not be familiar with the mod service. William Mott was born around 1694, and in 1762 he granted to the corporation an annual rent of £6 on the land of the Queen. This was to provide a sermon to be preached in Holy Trinity Church. William Mott was the mayor of Cambridge in 1763. The annual Mott sermon continues to be held to the present day. This constitutes a tradition that goes back nearly 300 years. So I would encourage everybody who is so privileged to be part of this tradition to show up on Sunday to go to church with me. And especially my 4 bailies who are going to be elected now, there's no excuse for you. It's not too early in the morning. 9:15 you've got to be here. 9:30 the church starts. Yeah. The proclamation of the Midsummer Fair takes place Wednesday, 21st of June, and details will be circulated in the coming weeks. Please support this civic occasion if you can. The day for this year's Mayor's Day Out in Great Yarmouth is confirmed as Wednesday, 16th of August. The support of councillors, stewarding coaches, assisting guests, etc. is always greatly valued. It's a fun day, looked forward and appreciated by those who take part. If anyone would like to help this year, please could they let Lucy Milazzo know, who will pass your name to the Cambridge Life team. We now move to the election of bailiffs. I call for nominations to fill the 4 vacancies for bailiffs. Do we have a proposal? Yep. The nominations would be moved and seconded as follows. Councillors Tim Moore, Councillor McPherson, Councillors Pagecroft, and Councillor Pippas. Does the Council agree these appointments? Agreed. Okay. This concludes the ceremonial element of the annual meeting. There will now follow 1-hour adjournment for lunch. Members and guests of members are invited to join me in the lounge hall. Could I ask that you wait a few moments while